Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs. It's probably been a couple weeks. I was at the Albuquerque Balloon Festival, so I didn't get to see you guys. Just a side note on the Albuquerque Balloon Festival in New Mexico, for any of you that have ever not been, it was like a wet fest. So if you ever go, I hear people locally will say, oh, if you want it to rain, just have a balloon festival. So it sounds like it rains every year. So just prepare, bring several changes of clothes, a rain jacket, an umbrella. Yes, I'm giving you these pointers and I hope you have a good time. I'm kind of a one and done kind of girl. So I went to it. I saw it. I experienced it. I got to experience all of the different elements within the 4 days we were there. So check. I'm good. We even got on the gondola and went up to the peak of the Sandia Mountains. It was beautiful. So I recommend doing that for sure while you're there. It's such a great price. It's like $30 to go up there. You can have lunch at the top of the restaurant that's up there. And that's where all of the skiers go and they drop down the other side. So beautiful, beautiful views. I highly recommend doing that. Well, today I'm excited because on our podcast, we don't talk a lot about podcasting, but today I have an expert that's going to be talking to us. Nicole Borghi is here. We're going to be talking about profiting from your podcast. Those of you that have podcasts, listen up, because you're going to learn a lot today about the things that you can do so that you can profit from your own podcast. And I think that's very important that you take a listen to that today, because yes, it's great to share people's stories, but why are we doing podcasts if we're just going to be paying for them and we're not actually giving other people opportunities to be seen and heard, like I do with my sponsors, which I will introduce to you one right now. And our sponsor for today is Phoenix Drone Pros. At Phoenix Drone Pros, we love what we do and are passionate about each and every drone photography and video shoot. We've been in business since 2017. Our talent and skills show in the video production we deliver. We offer fast service for commercial real estate, movies, events, and construction site monitoring. We also provide drone visual tours that are all the rage right now. These visual tours are great for team building and entertainment. Contact us today at phoenixdronepros.com to schedule your shoot online or get more information. We capture everything. Thank you so much, Phoenix Drone Pros. And I guess, Nicole, that is just a great example of a way to profit from your podcast. I give businesses visibility based on the magnitude of my podcast. We've been doing this since 2019. We started as a radio show with Voice America. We blew up in 37 countries. You know, we had tens and thousands of listeners. We get thousands of downloads every day. So because I have that visibility, sponsors want to be on my show so I can give them the visibility and I can profit from that, or I can add that as a value add to my clients that I work with and say, hey, as part of being a client of mine and paying this amount of money, you get to be a sponsor on my podcast. And that's priceless for them, you know, to get that visibility. So let me introduce you guys to Nicole. She's looking at me like, yes, I agree with everything you're saying. Let's get this party started. So Nicole Borghi is a speaker and a podcast host. What is the name of your podcast host, Nicole?
360 Wisdom Speaks.
360 Wisdom Speaks is the name of her podcast. Please go download that right now. She's the Creatrix of Commercials, podcast intros, and logos that nurture the relationships as you continue to nurture relationships with your customers and your leads. She really does help so many individuals achieve rapid growth in their service, gain more profits, and it's really all about the passionate, the purpose, and the soul aligned commercials. And so we're going to dive into that. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Oh gosh, thank you so much. And I love that, of course, that sponsor. It's all about the drone and the 360, right? So it's the synchronistic point of how you represent yourself and the energy that you're in. But, you know, thank you for having me, because this is fun. I'm so excited to talk about this today.
Yeah. So, you know, many of the women in the Leap community have podcasts. That's all the rage right now, right? That is also all the rage. Virtual tours is the rage, but I will definitely tell you that podcasts, there's millions and millions and millions of podcasts out there. And people always ask me, it just like their businesses, how am I different? How do I not just get lost in the mix? And the main thing I tell everyone is the way that you make your podcast stand out from everyone else is you do things your way, right? You have guests the way you want to do it. You talk about the things you want to talk about. And it's probably some of the things that other people want to talk about too, or want information about. So speak how you want to speak, say what you want to say. This is your platform, and you invite the people on that you want to have those conversations with. And that's one of the ways which you align with other people, and you will attract people that want to hear what you have to say, that maybe want to have those that learn more about business, or if you're talking about how to be a great mom, or if you're talking about how to keep your house tidy, right? You're going to attract people that want to learn how to keep their house tidy. And then that podcast of tidy in a house can have elements of products that you would use for tidying your house, right? They're going to give recommendations of things to buy. Those are good sponsors that you would want to reach out to be on your podcast. But really, sponsorships are only one small way to profit from your podcast. What are some other ways? Talk to me about commercials. I'd love to learn more about that.
Well, when we are doing commercials, any type of branding and logo, right? You want to do that on a heart-centered level, so you're connecting to your client. And that's where I started with commercials, was to make sure that, hey, I want to represent you as an energy worker. I want to represent you in branding, because it can get a little scary. 80s, I'm thinking Silicon Valley. We're getting a little scary with branding and salespeople. Let's not do that. Let's kind of change that. And just like you had mentioned before, do it your way. If it's not fun, right, it's not worth doing. And if you're not in your passion, you cannot well represent your purpose. And your purpose is to brand your business and to, hey, show your product or your service, and you want to represent that. And of course, we want to talk to the people that we're representing. So getting into that niche, and who are you comfortable having a conversation with? Who are you networking to? Yeah. So just think of, like, you had mentioned your circle of friends. Who are you networking with? Your friendship is a relationship, which is networking. And so when we break it down into the simplest form, that's how we do it. We want to stand out, and we want to stand up, and we want to kind of use it as an accessory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm glad you said that.
Right. Thank you.
Stand up piece.
Right. You're standing up in your best self, but as you accessorize, you're adding another necklace, or you're adding a different, what's your color? Mm-hmm. And that gets into your logo piece, and use it as a creation, which is your solar plexus. And you're speaking through your creation, your joy, it's your money chakra. So, you're hitting all of these wonderful things just from the middle of it, right next to your heart. And so how can we develop it from there? But you can always start commercials on the basic level. So even if we do a commercial and you're like, hey, I don't have sponsors, I'm not ready to reach out yet. I'm trying to understand how the podcasting is going to work for me. You, in the simplest form, you can use anything like affiliate links. So if you do doTERRA, or you do any type of essential oils, and you have an MLM, you're affiliating yourself. Use your commercial, sponsor yourself.
That's right. Yes. I'm glad you said that, because here's what I learned in the very beginning that I was taught when I became a radio show host. I said, I don't have do you guys have any sponsors for me? I don't have any sponsors. I'm thinking about Crest, or, some of the bigger companies, right? Like Tide's not going to sponsor me. And they said, well, doesn't your husband have a company? Doesn't your business partner have a company? I was like, oh my gosh. Yes. And they were like, so why aren't you using those sponsors? All they have to do is make a banner that goes, on your webpage, and they can be a sponsor. So that was my first toe in the water of understanding that you do not have to have someone pay you money. If you are selling doTERRA, right? Or you have a product that you really love, maybe you're selling it or not selling it, but let's say you have a friend next door that's one of your best friends, and they sell Melaleuca, and you're like, you know what? I use all the Melaleuca products. I just don't sell them, which is true. I actually do, and I don't sell them. And, but my friend does. So it's like, hey, I'm going to put you on as a sponsor on my show. Why would I do that? People probably think, well, why would she do that for free? That's not profiting. Sponsors attract sponsors. So if you have sponsors, and I rotate my sponsors out. So every show is a different sponsor, and I have a running list of them. So usually about once a month, my sponsor will get a shout out. Once a month at least, right? So, but I can't do that same sponsor over and over again unless I run my show to where I have a sponsor in the beginning, then I have a sponsor mid-show, and then I might have a sponsor at the end, which some people do, but generally you have to have a longer show. So I hope everyone's writing this down, or not if you're driving, but listening to this. If you have a shorter show like ours, 20 to 30 minutes, then you don't want to crowd in a whole bunch of commercials. You're not going to get a lot of listeners because they want to hear you. They want to hear what you have to say, or if you have a guest on your show, what you and your guest have to say. And if you crowd that with 4 commercials and you're constantly on break in 30 minutes, that's not going to work out. But if you only break twice in an hour, that's okay. Yeah, that's a good time to put in some sponsors. So talk to us about commercials. Is this like a video that we should play? I've played around with a few different things, and I wasn't sure if I should have my sponsors record, something and have them speak, and me go to break and have my sponsor, have them speaking with music, or, showing a visual, or because the way I do it now is I just speak about my sponsor and use their information in podcast notes. What do you recommend, Nicole? Like, how should that look?
Well, there's 2 things. Someone like you, Colleen, has a large influence. You've got a lot of people. People want to hear your voice. They want to connect with you. So if you're taking a piece of paper and you're reading it, or you got your notes down here and hey, our show is brought to you by, that's great, because your clients are looking for that. And whatever Colleen says, you're like, ooh, I got to listen. Is this for me or not? Or should I pass this on to a friend? Right. And so now you're sharing and connecting word of mouth. The other thing is we use on 360 Wisdom Speaks, we use 30-second commercials. That's a time span for everybody. Why? Because a commercial goes into our show. 30 seconds is simple. There's a lot you can put in visually and audibly, audio in 30 seconds. The other thing is we narrate our commercials. I narrate the commercials and do the voiceover for that, and go through the client. What do you want to represent visually? Is there a course? Is there a product that you have, and getting into that energy? The other thing is 30 seconds goes where? Ooh, TikTok. 30 seconds goes into Reels. We can rebrand, reuse, repurpose, everything. And you want to get people to get to know you. And so you want to see it again and again and again, right?
Yeah.
Here's this great color. Here's the branding of you, from your logo to your intro to your commercial. We could do it that way. But you put 30 seconds in. When I do this for clients, what I do is we take the audio snippet from the show, and you're hearing it on Spotify. You're hearing the commercial on iHeart. You've got the commercial on iTunes. Plus, it's playing through your branding. How are you creating that search engine for people to see you? You're putting those hashtags in. People are getting to know you. We're not going way out. We want to just keep it small and simple, because you can put it on your website. You can take that commercial with you, and now you're sharing, you're celebrating, you've got word of mouth. Now you're like attract lights, right? Right? So you're attracting more money and more sponsorships. But the best thing is it's a whole package. So it's wrapped beautifully with a bow. And now you're the podcast that people are looking at. You're not a podcaster here once in a while. You're not a podcaster once a month. 30 days, if nobody's seeing you within 30 days, just shelf the podcast until you're ready to put that back out, right? So you're using the branding, you're putting the podcast out, and people are seeing the professionalism. And now you look like a business, and you're a business with a heart, because you're representing this wonderful community.
Yeah, I agree with that. And sponsorships is really, and commercials is some of the best ways to set yourself apart, because you do represent some other companies that you bring in that are very aligned with you, right? Again, make sure they're very aligned. If you're a parenting, podcast, and you bring in, someone that's doing products for babies or young, or diapers or whatever it is, right? That's aligned, but don't bring in, knives or guns. and have that as I'm just trying to be honest here, and have that as one of your sponsors. Like, I'm not I'm a pro gun person, but it wouldn't fit, right? It doesn't fit. So especially if you're a parenting podcast. And here's the other thing, I know, Nicole, and we're going to get into this, that you kind of had this time in your life of sabotaging yourself. And so you're really on this mission today to work with other individuals so that they don't self-sabotage themselves. And I think we can get in our own way on podcasts. And when I first started my very first radio show, I had these notes and I would just read from the notes. Hi, my name is Colleen and I'm your host. And it was like, I was so scared to say the wrong thing. And I said the word about 50 times. It was really bad. And those are filler words. Now I do videos on YouTube about how to be a great speaker, an influential speaker, how to say the right words and not have filler words and pause and, these types of things. So I just remember how unconfident and how I was sabotaging myself on my podcast because I felt like no one wants to listen to me. Why would I do this? And I think when the spotlight's on us, Nicole, constantly, and we're just shining it on ourselves, we see all of our flaws. But if we would for 1 minute take the spotlight off us and shine it on other people, like our guests, or a topic, shine it on a topic. So let's say Nicole wasn't here today and I was doing the podcast by myself. How could I shine that spotlight on a topic or something else and keep the spotlight off us? What have you found, Nicole? Tell us what you went through and what do you have found to be some of the pieces and tools that you use today to keep you from falling back into that self-sabotage for these podcasters that are listening today on how they can be more confident in running their podcasts every week?
Well, taking that from smashing the sabotage and being such a successful sabotager for 30 years, right? I've got all that experience. I had to divorce my anger and marry my fear to realize my enoughness. I wasn't afraid of the camera. I had taught classes for years, but that was insecurity in law enforcement, working with a different group of people. So now it's aligning with a whole new world. But what encouraged me to go forward, and I use myself as an example because, this way we know, hey, I've been there, I've done that, I've gotten it, right? But to realize that I'm talking to a different group of people, it's at a different vibration. I'm going to have a different set of jokes or laugh at different at different words or phrases. It's really important to know who your audience is. But when you're not there yet and you're not willing to get into that niche, or you're kind of still going through the sea of who are my clients, what are you passionate about, right? And speaking to people, there's people that are passionate. I was very passionate about in-home care and working in hospice and working with military, that the members that were retired, and going into their homes and talking to them. So it's very easy for me to have a conversation about that type of subject. Now I'm passionate about this, and in my conversation with someone, one-to-one, I'm very passionate about it. And I don't worry about my hair or what color I'm wearing, and I don't have to worry about that. How does that transform to the camera? So I wrote a book called Cracking the Podcast Code. And what I share is tips on that to share with folks to say, hey, you know what? How do you approach that? What's your tonality? How are you speaking? I'm going to speak one way to this audience, and I'm going to speak a different way from the heart, especially on audio. People resonate with your tone. You don't want to be monotone. You want to be too high or low, but practicing that. How do you do that? You grab your phone and you go live on Instagram, and you're just like, hey guys, I'm playing with this today. Here's my channel. I have an audience. What do you see? What do you hear? How does it sound? But the best way to do that, not just ask our friends or family, because they're going to say, yeah, that was nice, right? You're not getting the constructive criticism that you need. You can always get a speaking coach. The other thing that you can do is watch your own video and listen to yourself. I know it's hard. It's really hard. But if other people have to listen to you, you should be able to listen to you. You're like, hey, I don't like my voice. Well, that's going to transmit through that audio that you don't like your voice. Your enoughness comes in, right?
Yeah.
And now it's how are you sharing that with others, and what form is it? Just practice a little bit. You can always delete the video if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Hop into Zoom, learn where the unmute is. How do you sound on a mic? How is your audio? What are the levels of the room? And you don't have to get really technical. Just start to get comfortable with who you are.
Yeah.
And present yourself that way. Just practice a little bit. Move forward and practice. Everything is audio and video now. So we're sharing that with other people. If you're afraid to come in, how is that show going to be successful?
Yeah.
So absolutely take a subject that you're passionate about, speak about that. And you had mentioned shows about babies and families. Well, if you have a group of friends that you like to discuss that with, get on Zoom, get comfortable with that, have a discussion with people you're comfortable with, and see how that is portrayed on the camera, on audio. And yeah, the filler words is when we're uncomfortable or we're thinking. It happens. You're allowed to have filler words. And of course I just did that because I'm saying that, right? Or yo and yeah and all this wonderful, yeah, I know. And how do you say that? And just look at that, speaking to Google Speaks, text to type, how many filler words come up when you're speaking? And you can always plug that audio in there and say, oh, okay, I get what I'm saying. Go to a Toastmasters, have other people look into what you're saying and how you're saying that.
Yeah, thanks, Nicole. That was great. I work with a lot of speakers, and the number one thing I tell them is to video themselves. The second thing I tell them is don't ever think that you know your speech without what you're going to say without doing it out loud. So have bullet points written down, walk around your room, say the whole thing out loud with your timer on. I always have my timer started on my phone, and I'll just walk around my office or my house with my notes, and I just say it out loud, because sometimes it doesn't sound great when you say it out loud and what you intended it to say when you put the bullet down, of what you thought was going to be so great to say. And you're like, well, yeah, that didn't work out at all. Like, I didn't even think it landed, so it is important to say it out loud. And videotaping yourself is good. It's good because you get to see yourself. But here's the number one thing. We are our worst critic. We always will be our worst critic. So understand that you're going to be way harder on yourself, compete more with yourself, expect more out of yourself than anyone else is going to. And the number one thing that will set you free, that will cause your life to be the easiest thing, is what Nicole did when she said, I divorced my anger. I decided that self-sabotage was not serving me anymore, and I changed the way I do things. I wear my hair up a lot, Nicole, because it's easy and I love having my hair up. And a lot of designers and people that I've worked with and stylists, they say, you really need to wear your hair down on camera. That's great. I'm on camera my entire life. I wake up, I get on camera, I go to sleep, and I'm on camera right before I go to sleep. I feel like my whole life is on camera. So I kind of get tired of wearing my hair down every once in a while. You know what I mean? So I do what I want to do. I don't apologize for it. And I think that there's this sought after appeal of people that are confident in their own skin and themselves. And people are like, I want to be like that. I want to be confident because it just seems so easy. And I don't have to fight to try and act like who I think I want to be that day. I mean, what are some tools of some things that you did to move past that? Because anyone that owns a podcast, like you said, we can get our advice from Instagram. We can get our advice from our friends and family. We can practice. We can do the, talk to, the speak to transcribe. What are some things internally that you've done for yourself every day that has helped you raise your confidence and helped you not self-sabotage?
Well, most of where I started was really exercise. It's such a stress reliever. And being in this last year was the worst year of my entire life, bar none. And I'm going to be 50. So that's a lot of bad years.
Welcome
right?
to the 50 club.
But it's who I want to be with, getting up in the morning. Sometimes it's hard to get out of bed. are going out and exercising and saying, if I just get on the treadmill, if I walk up to the gym, which is 10 minutes away, I'm getting sun, I'm getting out of my head. Now I've got a moving meditation going on, and I cannot express the change of how that has transformed my life to get back into the gym and to get out of my monkey mind. And if I'm having a bad day, I always say lift heavier. There's something there that has changed. And coming from a security job in a casino and constantly being busy, and there's always something going on, my focus was somewhere else. And now I have to do that myself. I don't have anybody to go, oh, squirrel, there's something going on. Right. Now it's up to me. Getting into that mirror, looking at the mirror in the morning, you're looking at yourself. Okay, I'm not the 21-year-old I was. I don't even remember that woman anymore. Thank goodness. Sometimes
I don't even know what I look like.
So much. But taking 5 minutes, taking 30 seconds and just sitting in a meditation and being able to be with myself was huge, because I have to give that sabotage or a lollipop, tell it to go in the corner and say, all right, go over here. This is not the time. Get out of my head. And realizing that self-awareness, that self-leadership. I have leader experience, but I don't have self-leadership experience. So how do I get to that self-mastery? And that was huge adjustment for me, not only to talking to networking groups now and talking to women or talking to people that are entrepreneurs. It's a huge adjustment for me. And actually, in that 360 spectrum, I am changing everything in my life. And that's huge. And learning who I am and getting comfortable on the camera really reflects for me at a soul level, the mirror that we talk about at a soul level, the fragments of me, in Jungian terms, where you're looking at that person, that deep, dark person inside. Now I have to engage with that person on the camera. Ooh, that's a big thing. Who am I seeing? And it was a mindset shift, a huge shift.
Yeah. There are so many choices we get to make every day. And I love that you brought up exercise and meditation. Those are the two things. Meditation's newer for me in the last year, but exercise has been part of my life forever. And that is really where my energy has come from. The healthy eating keeps my energy where it is. And I just think that exercising is what gives me a lot of the positivity that I have as well in my life. And because the people that I meet that exercise tend to be happier. I don't know how to explain it, but they are. And so, because you feel good about your body, you feel good about yourself, and you're doing something for yourself, and you get that, dopamine and all those, little extra chemical drips that happen in our bodies when we start moving. And so thank you for those tips. Those are huge. We've talked about so many areas of our lives, not only for ourselves and what we can do to become more confident, to be on camera or to be on microphone, to run a podcast, but how you can set yourself apart from other podcasts as well and profit from your podcasts. I knew that I went on a couple of shows where they charge for you to be on their podcast, but they also accompany that with a huge marketing package. And it's like, well, for $75, I can get this huge marketing package in addition to being interviewed on their show. That's a good deal for me. Or they have you donate to a specific cause, and it might be their nonprofit. So you pay $50 to donate to a nonprofit, and that is how you're able to be on their show. I utilize profiting from my podcast as part of my membership for my Leap community. So people pay to be a member, and included in that is a podcast interview. They get 2 a year. So I profit from that, right? So these are all the different ways that you can profit. You can make your podcast exclusive to your members of a community like I do, and to your clients. I'm very picky. I have a lot of PR companies that pitch people to me, a lot, because I've been doing this for a long time. And they pitch people to me every day. And just because they pitch someone to me doesn't mean I pick them up. and I say, yes, I want to interview them on my show, I want to make sure that this person that I'm interviewing on my show also wants to make a big deal about them being interviewed. And if it's a book tour and you're just going podcast to podcast to podcast, and you're not going to promote this interview at all, I'm not interested in interviewing you. It's not serving me. It's only serving you. And I agree that there needs to be a simpatico of it serving both of us. So that's another way. Be cognizant of the guests that you have on your show. Are they willing to promote your show and their interview? That's going to help you get more awareness. And that should be a requirement for your interview on your show. So, Nicole, we've talked a lot about your expertise. I know you do intros, outros, commercials. Everyone that's listening that has a podcast needs your services. So tell us, how do we reach you? What is the best way to connect with you?
You can always email me or text me, but NicoleBorghi.com is my website. It's NicoleBorghi, and go to that, connect with me on social media. I just go with my name. It's everywhere. You can find me there, and we can discuss all about, branding you and going within who you are at the soul level.
I love that. Thank you. We have her information on LinkedIn, Nicole Borghi, and you can find her at 360 Wisdom Speaks on Facebook. Are you on Facebook individually or just as 360 Wisdom Speaks?
I'm on there individually as well.
Okay, great. We have her Instagram for you guys as well as her Twitter. So make sure you guys are connecting with her on the best social platform that you use to connect with her and reach out to her and connect with her, to have a conversation with her on NicoleBorghi.com. We highly recommend that you reach out to her. And Nicole, thank you so much for your wisdom and speaking your wisdom that you brought today to our show. And if anyone wants to be a guest on 360 Wisdom Speaks, be sure to reach out to her as well on any of her social platforms. And today was just a great conversation on podcasting, which we don't talk about generally. So I'm so blessed to meet so many amazing women that have authority and skills and knowledge and experience in so many other industries. So thank you for bringing that to our listeners today. Thank you for being part of the LEAP community and all that you bring to the ladies that are building their businesses there. So thank you so much for that. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind you that you're the only you that's ever been. You're the only you that will ever be. For goodness sakes, just be you. I'm just going to say that. Normally I don't, but come on, just be you. That's how you're going to be different. That's how you're going to stand out on your podcast. And if you want to profit from your podcast, then you have to put these pieces in place and start putting sponsors on there. Start looking at commercials, have professional intros and outros. If you don't, get a hold of Nicole. These are the things you need on your podcast for people to take you serious. And oh, by the way, something we didn't mention, would you go out there and market your podcast, please? Tell people it exists, market it, and ask people to subscribe. If you don't ask people to subscribe, they won't. Tell them what to do. Hey, I have this new podcast episode. You got to download it. Hey, I have this new podcast. I want everyone to subscribe to it. If you like me, you'll subscribe to my podcast. Just put it out there, right? So, Nicole, any last words for our listeners?
You know what? Stand out and shine.
Oh, yes, girl. I love that for today. All right, everyone. You heard it from Nicole right here. Stand out and shine. And we will see you all next week. And until then, do not ever forget to be you and be strong. Until then, bye-bye for now.